Welcome back to How It's Made. Making religious figurines out of wax is a tradition the French brought to the New World. For hundreds of years, this delicate craft wasn't open to any Tom, Dick or Pierre. The technique remained a closely guarded secret, practiced only by monks and nuns. Well, now, the secret's out. This artisan uses a centuries-old technique to restore antique figurines and to make new ones. The process begins with pure beeswax, paraffin wax, some powdered chalk to make the waxes less transparent, and a bit of solid animal fat to make the wax less fragile once it hardens. The ingredients are heated in a pot of water for about 2 hours until everything's melted and homogeneous. The mixture is tinted using oil paint pigments. Once the colour is uniform throughout, the mixture is poured through a stocking. This filters out any contaminants or undissolved particles. Now the mixture is poured into a plaster mould. There's a different mould for each model. The wax takes about 10 minutes to solidify. The figurine comes out easily because the mould cavity was greased beforehand with filtered sheep fat. The figurine at this point is firm enough to extract from the mould, but still soft enough to sculpt. With a fine heated blade, the excess wax is removed. The figurine is run through a flame, just long enough to melt off any wax particles left behind by the scraping. The surface is smoothed with a solvent. The maker then signs the back of the figurine with her initials, then uses the flame once again to melt off the scraped out wax. Now that the figurine's body is finished, the detailed work can begin. Pine resin with beeswax is melted to make glue, then brushed onto the figurine's head. Strands of human hair are soaked in water, along with strips of fabric. The artist rolls the hair around a knitting needle to make curly locks. She winds the fabric over the curls to hold them in place until they air dry. If pressed for time, she'll dry them in an oven on low heat. To make bigger curls for a larger figurine, she simply uses a thicker knitting needle. Now, using a hot blade to reheat and activate the glue, she applies each length of curls individually. Once she's finished covering the head, she attaches a little halo made of brass wire, heating the end so that the wax melts on contact and holds it in position. Now, using a small pointed tool that she repeatedly heats on the flame, she sculpts the fine facial details, the figurine's eyes, eyelids, nostrils and lips. Again, a little solvent cleans off the wax particles. Now the figurine is brushed from head to toe with powder made of pumice and pigment. This will help the watercolour paints adhere to the wax. The artist paints the eyes, lashes, brows and lips. Once the paint dries, a touch of varnish is applied to the eyes to make them shiny and bright. The figurine is then dressed and positioned in its setting.